live to chat about the 19th gene key. We're going to start by reading from the Wisdom Keepers deck. And I just wanted to give you guys the story and also the explanation of it and some questions for contemplation. And then we'll really dive deeper into the 19th gene key and what I have understood from this gene key and how you can use it right now. Because right now we're in transit. And what that means is that the sun is activating the 19th gene key for the collective. And that means that whether you have the 19th gene key in your chart or not, it is active within you. And remember, we have all of the gates, all of the gene keys. Just because you don't have it in your profile doesn't mean that you don't have access to it. We always have the ability to tune ourselves to that frequency, and we have access to the magic within it, and also the shadows within it. It just depends on what kind of experience you're choosing for yourself, because you are the empowered one. You are not a victim of the gene keys. You are not a victim of your design. That would be a codependent relationship where you're giving your power away to something outside of you, and your design is not in charge of you. You are the driver of your vehicle. You are the creator of your world, and you have the ability to claim your independence. So let's get started. 19th gene key. Okay, sweetie. The 19th. This is the 19th gene key from the Wisdom Keepers deck, and I'm going to read her story. I always call this lady Babushka. She just looks like a babushka for me. I don't even know why. I don't even know what babushka means. She is my babushka. And babushka says, I was born in the old country where men took care of money, women took care of the children, adults took care of the elders, and God took care of us all. Traditions and customs made up the fabric of our lives, and we didn't question them. Hold on, bud.
Can you put on the answer?
Not right now. If you are good and you let me do this, then I will. Go back in the house and watch your show and eat your snack. Traditions and customs made up the fabric of our lives, and we didn't question them. When my girls were little, my sensitivity was welcome. They'd have a need, and I'd meet it. For every runny nose, I had a tissue. For every cold, hot soup. For every tear, a bosom to cry on. But as they grew older, and as the world changed around us, my ability to sense what they felt and needed was shrinking. I'd give them good advice, and they'd accuse me of not listening. I'd cook for them and nourishing meal, and they'd say it was unhealthy. I'd arrange for them to meet a nice boy, and they'd refuse to come out of the room. I'd even pray to God that he protect them, and they'd challenge. They challenge he even existed. When they moved out, I called them every day. They called me codependent, saying they didn't want me to worry. No matter how hard I tried to love them and be a good mother, no matter how often I told them how much I loved them, I suffered in their absence. It didn't work. They just distanced themselves from me more and called me the needy one. Finally, I did the unthinkable. I turned my back on my own children. If they didn't need me, then I didn't need them. For a long time, I isolated myself and was miserable. Sure, I had failed as a mother, but eventually my friends dragged me out of the house. A class here, a walk there. Then I started having the strangest dreams where animals would come talk to me. Soon, to my shock, the spirits of dead relatives and friends started showing up in my living room, bringing messages for me to pass along. Word got out about my extrasensory gifts. Friends and neighbors started coming to me with their depressed pets, wilting plants, and unresolved grief. I became quite a phenomenon in the neighborhood. Even my girls were intrigued. Now they come over all the time. I'm having so much fun with my own surprising life that I let them have fun with theirs in their own way. They even eat my food and take my advice now and then when they ask for it. So this is the story of, we'll just call her Babushka, and her gift to you. I'm here to celebrate your sensitivity and all the ways that you are attuned to the feelings and needs of other people in your life. Being of service is a wonderful thing. That said, when you offer your support, make sure you're coming from a good place. make sure you're happy with your own life and that you're not just trying to get your own needs met by meeting the needs of others. I can guarantee you people can smell hidden agendas. If you are isolating yourself because of hurt feelings, it is time to reach out for support. Your heart is too big and beautiful to close off for too long. So this is from the Wisdom Keeper Oracle deck that I use often. I'll post the link for you guys later. It's on Amazon. So I read from this, and this is the card for the 19th gene key. So with the 19th gene key, it's active for the collective now because the sun is activating it within our DNA. So it's awakened us. It's doing stuff in us. And I know a lot of you, it's been active for like 2 days. And so some of you may have been feeling nauseous. Some of you have been feeling headaches, tired, different symptoms within your body, right? So you've been feeling the effects of the 19th gene key for a while. And so a lot of the sensitivity has been showing up in your physical body so that you can be sensitive to your own needs. But I'm sure that some of you are experiencing other sensitivities because the gift frequency of this gene key is pretty magical. Oh my Lord, I'm sorry. I still have a 3-year-old at my house. So it's sometimes a little noisy and chaotic because he's sensitive to his own needs and he knows what he needs and what he wants, and he's very independent and he'll go get it. So the purpose of this gene key is to move us from codependence into independence. And so there's a lot of mutations that happen within our DNA because as a collective, as a species, as a human race, we are evolving through mutations. And it's in these mutations in our DNA that we get to unlock the different higher frequencies within our DNA. And right now as a collective, we are operating still in the lower frequencies. So I wanted to show you this chart if I can grab it. Need to find it. I'm looking in Power versus Force by David Hawkins. He has a map of consciousness, and it shows you the different levels that we operate at, right? So shame is the lowest, and that is at a 20, right? So it goes from 20 to 0 to 1,000. And right now, we are operating at pride. So a little bit below neutrality, not neutrality, but the mid-level where you're kind of in between. And so what's going to catalyze us into this next level of awareness, next level of consciousness is courage, getting into the courage frequency instead of the pride frequency. And so with all these mutations happening within our DNA, we're helping the collective rise. So with each of these gene keys, you can just think of it as part of our DNA, pieces of ourselves. And the more we are able to raise the frequency of these lower aspects of ourselves, and I don't want to say lower as in good or bad, it's just, it is what it is. It's operating at a certain frequency, and that frequency then projects a certain reality for us. So if you're operating at a really low frequency, you're going to have a less than desirable reality for yourself, right? You're going to attract things that are not fun for you, right? So what we're trying to do is raise the consciousness of the collective, but we first have to do it within ourselves. And so we're trying to move from codependence to independence. So what does codependence mean? Codependence means that you are dependent on something outside of yourself to give you something that you need. And with obviously that's not desirable. We have everything we need within ourselves. And so in shifting into independence, you know that nothing outside of you holds power over you. And it says in the book, Richard Rudd has said that this gene key has the potential for violence because there are a lot of systems in our current world right now that want to have power over us. For example, the government. Could you imagine if we decided that we were all going to just go live off the grid and not follow the rules that they set? There would be we would suffer some kind of consequences because they would want to hold power over us and we would want to leave. So some kind of revolution would need to happen, right? And so in any codependent relationship, each party is getting something from the other, right? And when you want to leave that, there's always a little bit of pushback because it's not how it used to be. Like, this person had power over you, or they were using you to feel this way. And with codependence, even the nicest acts can still be selfish, because if you feel unworthy, if you are doing something because you want to be validated and you want to increase your worth, then it is a selfish reason. So for example, if you like Babushka, she really held tightly to the label of mother, right? And when her kids started to grow up and didn't really need her anymore, because she was so tightly wound around that label of mother, when she was no longer a mother, it was taking a dig at her self-esteem. She wanted to be able to be useful. She wanted to be needed, because in that need, it validated her self-worth. But we are not our labels. We are not our judgments. We are not anything. We are just ourselves. And if you attach yourself to a label, then you're giving your power away to that label. And when somebody strips you of that label, it's a threat on your self-worth and your survival. Because some stuff, it is fear-based. Some stuff is worth-based. It just depends on where this codependency is coming from. So if you look at the human design chart, you can see you can have codependence in any of these areas. The codependent, the 19th gene key comes out of your root chakra. Your root chakra is pressure, stress. And when we're feeling under stress, when we're feeling pressure, we want to deflect. We want to give that power away. We're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. So sometimes we're giving our power away to the outside forces so that we don't have to take responsibility for it, because it would be easier to just give it away. So, for example, if you okay, so let's look at your heart center, your will center, this one. So if a lot of people who have open heart centers are looking for worth, and a lot of people who have open G centers are looking for love and direction. So could you see how maybe they would give their power away to something else that was going to then give them that love or give them that worth? Or maybe having an open emotional center, maybe you crave emotional situations. Maybe you crave conflict. Maybe, like, you may not like fights, but you like the feeling that it evokes in you, right? For me personally, I just went through, I have a defined root, right? So you'd think, oh, there's no codependence here. No, there is. It doesn't matter if you're open or defined. You can still have patterns of codependence. So for me, and for a lot of you that are probably spiritual, you always say, like, oh, this person is my anchor. This person grounds me. And so I was saying that, oh, my husband grounds me. He's my anchor. He's my stability. He's my security. He allows me to, by him going to work and bringing in the money, he allows me to do this kind of stuff and not worry about money and not put that as a stressor for me. I'm just free and open and boundless. But that is a codependent relationship. That's me giving my power away to him and saying, you give me security, you give me stability, you give me all these things. You ground me. But what's to say that I can't ground myself? What's to say that I can't give myself security, stability, financial stability? Any of that stuff we can give to ourselves. But the moment we think that something outside of us are what gives it to us, that's where we give our power away. And so I think it was Friday. I went through this kind of like epiphany and shifting, and it was crazy. It was scary. I realized that I had this codependent pattern, and when I separated myself from him, and I was able to, Sarah, out, and I was able, there's a lot of animals hanging out, which we'll talk about in the gift frequency of this gene key. I split that cord between our root centers. He has an open root center, so what do? I fill that in for him, and he gives me stability and security so that I'm not having to do that. And so I split that, and I went through this kind of dark night of the soul mini episode where it felt completely different. I was no longer connected there. The first thing was recognizing. When you bring your awareness to something and you recognize it, you get to choose to shift it. You get to choose to let it go. But you first have to have that awareness about it. So I had the awareness about this cord, this codependent cord, where I was giving my power away to him to ground me, secure me, give me safety, right? The masculine too. I robbed myself of that independence within myself, and I gave that to him instead of claiming that within myself. And when that happened, because I had been with him 15 years, married 13 years, and that's a long time to be thinking that this person grounds you, this person anchors you, this person is your stability and your security, right? And when that connection was severed, it was scary because it was almost feeling like I was floating, because I didn't know how to personally ground myself. I didn't know how to give myself that security. I didn't know how to not spiral. And so I was sitting there in the bathroom and I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. What, is this my reality now? I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And then I felt myself getting really floaty. Not like quite leaving my body. It's just I felt super up here and in my head. And so I had to claim my power, claim my independence. And I said, I am here. I am now. This is my reality. And I had to repeat it over and over and over again until I got to a place where I felt more secure and more grounded. And then after that, I went and I got some crystals to just help support my energy and to continue on with this independence and this claiming my power and claiming the now and saying, I'm here, I live here, I am grounded, I will be here. I'm not going to float off, and I'm not going to escape or be absent or whatever, or be in la la land because I don't have an anchor that somebody else is tying to me, right? I am my own anchor, and I choose to be here. And so in doing and having that command and saying that for myself, I was able to ground myself. And then I knew how much music helped me. So I went back to bed and I listened to some root chakra clearing, healing meditation stuff. And when I woke up again in the middle of the night, I felt completely reset. And I was like, all right. And I've been seeing my root chakra, like through clairvoyance. I've been seeing it being worked on and being reset and looking completely different than it did before, because I spent 15 years of my life with a root chakra I was sharing with somebody else. I'm going to give you this and you give me that, like this codependence, right? And so ever since then, I have felt myself more grounded, more secure, more stable within myself, because I noticed that pattern of codependency. And a lot of us have this, especially as spiritual women. Usually we give this, oh, you're my grounding, you're my anchor, to our men or our partners, right? But that's not independence. You have everything you need within yourself. You come to them as whole, they come to you as whole. That is moving out of the frequency of codependence. So anyways, just wanted to share that little story with you. And then I want to go into the gift frequency, because the gift frequency unlocks a lot of awesome stuff for us. There's a lot of magic within this gene key that a lot of you probably don't know about, but you've sensed. You just haven't had anybody tell you. So if you have the 19th gene key in your profile, in your chart, pop it in the comments. If it's not in your gene key chart, it might be in your human design chart. Just let me know if you have it, because you have access to this all the time, right? It's something that is defined in your personality or in your unconscious. And you have access to these different frequencies. If you don't have it in your chart, that's fine. You still can attune yourself to the frequency. You still can unlock this gift for yourself. It's not limited to people who have it in their charts, like I said earlier. So Gene Key 19 is the gift of sensitivity. This is being sensitive to the needs of others, but first knowing what the needs of yourself is, and knowing that if you're giving to another, you're giving it from a place of wholeness, not needing anything in return, right? It's like that altruism. You are giving without an expectation. And with the 19th gift of sensitivity, the title of this chapter is called The Whisperers. And what you unlock in this gene key when you get into the higher frequencies is the ability to be sensitive to different planes, like the devic plane, seeing fairies, talking to angels. People who have the 19th gift are very attuned to animals. They can talk to animals. They can speak to animals. They know what animals need. They have a deep connection to the animals. And you'll know what kind of connection you have, because some people it's to sea life, it's to dogs, it's to cats, it's to like pet type animals, or maybe it's to more wild animals, or it could be plants. I don't know. So it just attunes you to like the living auric field of everything living around you, and you can kind of sample and taste that aura and know, okay, this is what this person needs from me, right? So this gift allows you increased sensitivity to this living bioenergy that connects all creatures. And it also says that people who have this gift also may have synesthesia. And that is a genetic ability to link different senses internally. So, for example, you can smell with your eyes or sense colors with your hands. I have a friend who plays violin, and each of the notes she sees as a color. So when she plays it, she sees it as a color, which is really cool. And you can discover latent abilities that allow you to feel deeply into your environment, and in particular, to sense the emotional patterns and needs of others through the living auric field. If you notice, the 19th gene key is linked out of the root chakra, right? And then if you move up, that channel goes into the emotional center. And so it gives you the pressure, the push to enter into that emotional field, to know the needs of the emotional needs of somebody else and yourself. And if you have like a hanging gate where you don't have the other gate to make the complete channel, you'll want to look into that other gene key, because you're going to want to give that to yourself, that other gate. You're going to want to give that energy to yourself so that you can have a complete channel and have that strength within yourself. You don't need anybody else to come in and be like, oh, here's half of that gate. Let's work together. You can do that, right? But you don't want to create a codependent relationship where you're like, I need them because I don't have that other piece of the puzzle. That's not the case. You can give it to yourself. You just have to attune yourself to it. So when we are going through these transits, you're able to attune yourself to the frequency, and then it never leaves you, right? You get to master this gene key, this gate, this energy by attuning yourself to it and bringing it into your life and just activating it within yourself. And it doesn't need to be activated by the sun. You can activate it in yourself at any time. Like after this goes out of transit, if you believe you have the power to activate, which I do, I believe that for myself, any day you can be like, I activate the gift of sensitivity. I want to experience this gift, and you bring it into your life, right? You don't have to have it in your chart, and you don't have to wait until the sun activates. That's, again, giving your power away to the sun. Oh, I'm going to wait until the sun activates it within me. No, you have the ability to do it for yourself. Okay? Let's see. Ooh. People with the 19th gift are often shamans because of their increased sensitivity to the other realms. And this gene key is one of 3 primary portals. So the 62nd gene key is a portal, the 12th gene key is a portal, and the 19th gene key is a portal. And this is a portal that allows humanity access to other evolutionary kingdoms within nature. So like I said, the angels, the devic kingdom, where there's fairies and different realms of consciousness. So and even mediumship, right? I feel like we have access to all these planes, and they feel different. So if you just set the intention, like I want to connect to a passed on loved one, you would go to this plane of existence where they all resided, and you can call in that energy and bring forth messages or talk to them. You don't need the physical form to connect to the energy. And so a lot of people who have the 19th gift are very skilled mediums and connect to animals and connect to past everything, right? Any dimension, any plane, any reality. And and I don't want to scare anyone, but in the shadow frequency, you attune yourself better to the demon realm. And it's just, like fear-based, right? So in the lower frequencies, in codependence, you stay there because you have all these voices in your head telling you you're not worthy, you need to do this to earn that, you have to earn your worth, all this stuff, right? And just look at everything as neutral. And obviously you're able to shift yourself with awareness. So as long as you are standing empowered within yourself, you're not handing away your power to anything. You know who you are, you know your reset point, you know who you are at your core. Right? And that's why me and Johanna created Reset and Reclaim, because we want you to know how to reset your energy, to clear yourselves of these cords, to create a boundary that's healthy for you, and how to reset yourself to your original design so that you know what it feels like to be you without influence of outside forces. Right? I'm going to let this person control me. I'm going to let this thing, this addiction, whatever, control me. So we created a way for you to be able to reset your energy, know what it feels like alone, so that you can start making decisions based on your 1 point, your 0 point. And you can start letting go of the codependent patterns and the codependent connections because you have that awareness and that mindfulness to shift it. So I posted a link to the course in the description of this. So if you're interested in doing that, I highly recommend it because it has been pivotal for me. I'm still uncovering more stuff for myself, right? There's still more codependent patterns probably that I can let go of. I just haven't been made aware of them yet. But that one was made aware to me. And I always knew that. I always knew I said, oh yeah, he grounds me. But it wasn't anything negative. But yes, I was giving away my power to an extent to him, right? Letting him fill a role that I could fill myself. We can be everything we need for ourselves. Okay, so the title was The Whisperers, and it says Whisperers, specially gifted people who can communicate with animals or who can act as a bridge between entirely different species. You are a bridge. When you access the 19th gift, you are a bridge. And you can access the collective of children, you can access Christ consciousness, you can access all these different consciousnesses within. Isn't that a cool gift? Isn't that magical to be able to channel these different beings, to talk to these different beings? The reason that you have access to this is because the Siddhic frequency is so important in moving the collective towards the future. And so the 19th Siddhi of sacrifice is very attuned to the future so they know what the present needs. And sacrifice just means, it's not like I'm sacrificing myself. It just means that like I sacrifice living in the future to be in the present, so that I can help humanity move towards this future way of being. And it's beautiful because they come here, these people. If you have this prominent in your profile, if you have it in any of the outer spheres, right, the 4 outer spheres, it's part of 70% of your personality. So if you have this, you come to be sensitive to the future, sensitive to the needs of the people here now, humanity now, because you're here helping the mutation along, helping the evolution along. And it says in the book on 141, it says, they emerge during times of great mutation, since they themselves are in the grip of that mutation. With their hypersensitive mutated DNA, they see the new form emerging and do their utmost to prepare people for the coming consciousness shift. They are highly sensitized beings, or sensitized bridges, to the new human, and have the ability to siphon information about the new paradigm from behind the veil of the future into the present. Every city has to make its sacrifice in this way because each of them represent a being from the future that works in the present. It's really cool, right? And that's why the 19th gene key is titled The Future Human Being, because what you're doing is you are moving us towards that future human being. So that's what I have on the 19th gene key for you guys, my little personal experience, and the shadow, the gift, and the city. So if you have any questions, I would love to know. If you have it in your profile, in your human design or your gene keys, and what gets you excited about accessing this gene key right now. We have until February 1st or 2nd while this gene key is active for the collective, where you don't have to do any work. It's just here. The whole collective is experiencing it. So I am going to hop off, but have a great rest of your day, and I hope that this was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, ask them. I will come back and check these out. Bye, everybody.